Thank you very much for that. We appreciate that. Joining us now, Connecticut Democrat Chris Murphy. He sits on the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee. It's good to talk to you today. Is there any recourse here for banks who feel like this is unfair to go in and to take away their justly earned compensation?
Well, why would there need to be any recourse here? These banks, especially the top 7 that we're talking about that have these new pay restrictions, exist only because the United States government and the United States taxpayers decided it was in the best interests of our economy to intervene, lend money to them to keep our financial system running. My constituents back home just have absolutely no tolerance for these banks, which are in operation today by the generosity of the American taxpayer, to be giving out these type of salaries. So I don't see that there needs to be an avenue of recourse here. These are the folks that got us into trouble, and they shouldn't be profiting off of the crisis that many of them have created.
Here's one of the problems, though, Representative Murphy, because I certainly hear what you're saying, but you take a guy like Robert Ben-Moshe. He is the new CEO of AIG. They just brought him in. He was not there when any of this happened. We own AIG, the company. We need someone really good to go in and turn it around, fix it up so that it can sell off its parts and pay me, the taxpayer, back. So now we're bringing in this new CEO who could get a million other jobs somewhere else for as much money as he could possibly make. And we're saying we want you to do this for the taxpayer, but we want you to do it out of the goodness of your heart. We're not going to give you the money that you would make elsewhere. Isn't that going to be a problem?
Well, listen, the goodness of your own heart, a $200,000 cash payment every year to many of my constituents is a little bit more than just charity.
But he can make 10, 20, 30, 40 times that somewhere else. The problem is, why would he continue in the job when he could make so much more anywhere else?
Well, because as I understand it, the restrictions that are being passed by Treasury still allows him and other executives to make pretty handsome rewards should their companies do better. It still allows for fairly generous stock options that can be exercised over time so that we start aligning compensation with actual success and profit.
So it's not really a pay cut then? It sounds like it's not really a pay cut then. I mean, if he can make the money down the road, it sounds like it is the same payday they always got before. It's just a little bit later down the road. Nothing's really changed except for the time horizon.
Well, again, I don't have a problem with CEOs of major financial institutions making salaries based on the performance of their portfolio, based on the performance of this. And that's what we have to get down to doing, whether it's with a recipient of TARP funding or other major institutions. We've got to start aligning compensation with performance. I think my constituents can buy salaries in accordance with performance.
Yeah, Congressman Murphy, let me ask you one more question. The president yesterday was out with this big speech on pushing small business reform. He wants small business or helping them grow. He wants to give them some of this TARP money so that they can turn around and then lend to other small businesses. Are you worried that small banks now, these community banks, may not want to take any of that TARP money because, hell, they could go in and chop their salaries?
Yeah, well, again, so long as the salary is aligned with performance, I think that small lenders and small businesses will be willing, if it makes sense for them, to take advantage of this assistance. Again, we're not talking about people being restricted to making $100 a year. $200,000, even in Connecticut, is still a pretty decent living. And if you match that with some stock options that are aligned with how you do, I think that there'll be a lot of folks that want to take advantage of that and start to get lending going in our small business community. Going forward.
Representative Murphy, thanks so much for coming on. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Let's bring in